Before I show you how to calculate new variables based on existing variables, I'm going to show you how to design a very basic, very simple time series line chart using Insight. So as you remember, we have year here, we have total films here. So let's create a line chart that shows the number of movies produced every year worldwide. So what I'm going to do is to put the year on the x-axis and total films on the y-axis. In order to do that, I'm going to go to the drop-down menus down here. Variable 1 is going to be total films, so that will be the total number of films. And variable 2, the one that will be placed on the x-axis, is going to be year. And automatically what will happen is that Insight will design a time series chart. But it is not a line chart. It is a time series chart because we have time on the x-axis, and then the y-axis, the position on the y-axis represents a certain amount, a certain variation of a variable, right? But the dots are not connected with a line. In order to do that, you need to go to the Add to Plot menu item down here, Add to Plot. And then on the drop-down menu, click on that and select Join Points by Line. So if you click on that and then you click on Join Points, the Insight will create a blue line. If you want to change the color of that line, you can just open this drop-down menu and you can select any color. And then if you want to change the style of the dots or the size of the dots, always remember that you can go to the drop-down menu again, change plot appearance, and here you can color the interior of the dots if you want to. You can make them bigger if you want, that I would not recommend that, or you can make them smaller. Okay, so that is going to make those dots smaller. Now, just a piece of advice here, this is not the way we are going to create time series charts later. This is appropriate only if you want to show the variation of a single variable. But what about if, for example, you wanted to compare I don't know, number of adventure films versus number of horror movies produced every year. This is not a good way of doing that because you cannot plot more than one variable over here. Okay, you will need to create several charts and then you will need to join them together in Adobe Illustrator. I mean, that may be a property in some cases. Remember that you can detach the plot from the window. If you click on that, that will detach the plot. And then you can save this plot as a PDF just by going to the File menu, Save As, and that will save the plot as a PDF that you can open up in Illustrator and style. Just as a reminder, if you go to my website, thefunctionalart.com, if you go to the upper right corner, Tutorials and Resources, there is a diagram here that explains what the workflow of these tutorials, what the workflow that I'm using in these tutorials is. So we are beginning by creating base charts in Insight and other tools, and then we are going to learn how to style them in Adobe Illustrator in a future tutorial, and then how to export those files using a plugin called AI to HTML that basically transforms an Adobe Illustrator file into an HTML page that you can publish on your website. But anyway, going back to Insight, this is not exactly what we want. We are going to use later on this module over here. If you go to the advanced menu on the upper left corner over here, there is a time series module. But before we get there, let me explain a couple of very interesting things here.